Let's be honest here. The goal of autonomous trucks is to get rid of truck drivers. Now, the mega carriers and the ATA would just love to get rid of truck drivers if they could, because it would save them billions every year in having to pay drivers benefits, holiday time, all the costs associated with having people working for them. This video is sponsored by Lanefinder. Now, American lawmakers are well aware of two facts. Number one, the American workforce has been depleted over the years by AI and manufacturing moving overseas. It's not a good thing, and they want those jobs back. The second thing they're aware of is that trucking employs over 3.5 million drivers. They're a huge workforce in this country. Congress and the lawmakers do not want to lose that workforce. So now the ATA and the mega carriers and the autonomous trucking companies are trying to convince Congress that by bringing in autonomous trucks, no drivers will lose their jobs. It's an almost impossible task. But Chris Spear is the head of the ATA. They pay him $1.8 million a year to do their bidding, and right now one of his jobs is to convince lawmakers that autonomous trucks are going to be a good thing for America and not hurt the American workforce. He's got his work cut out for him. Now, a few weeks ago at a House subcommittee hearing, Spear was doing his absolute best to convince lawmakers that autonomous trucks would be a good thing for the marketplace and that drivers would not lose their jobs. His quote was, "Driver displacement is a myth. I would look any truck driver in the eye and tell him that his job was not at risk." Now, the problem was, though, he never finished the sentence. He never told the complete truth. The job would not be at risk until it was, and the sooner the better, and the ATA and Chris Spear would be happy if that happened tomorrow. But a half-truth is as good as a lie. And members of this House subcommittee are not stupid, and they were skeptical right away, and they began questioning Spear on his motives and how this is actually going to be a fact, because they know there's a twist of this that Spear is putting into, and it's not the whole truth. It's not real. Spear actually said to the subcommittee that autonomous trucks would help attract drivers to the industry, and you go, huh? What's he talking about? How can that be? But what he's doing is twisting drivers with safety drivers and trying to say, well, you know, we'll always need safety drivers until we won't, but guys are going to flock to the market to be these safety drivers. But he left all of that part out. Spear tried to sell the subcommittee on the fact that autonomous trucks would be safer because of the technology, and one member of the House committee immediately piped up and said, well, what about the two recent accidents in San Francisco? She was right on top of the ball. And those subcommittee members weren't missing a thing. In fact, this member went on to say that she wasn't particularly happy that these autonomous truck companies were using public highways as testing grounds. She didn't think that was a good idea. She was unhappy about that. Spear tried to suggest that the drivers, but really now he's talking about safety drivers, would feel more rested and relaxed using autonomous trucks. But I laughed right out loud at that, because the autonomy is at such a stage where it still can't be trusted. And I've never met a more stressed out group than these mega carrier drivers that are having to live with automatic braking, for instance. Those guys are terrified to drive those trucks, especially in bad weather. Spear went on to try to use different arguments, and basically it was like watching somebody throw wet spaghetti against a wall. He was just trying anything he could think of to see what would stick. But I was happy to see that the subcommittee was not impressed with his arguments. The truth is that trucking employs the greatest number of male high school graduates in the United States. That's a fact. And the fact is, the United States does not want to lose any more of its workforce. They can't afford to lose 3.5 million truck drivers, plus the revenue that goes to their families, because that would devastate the economy. Lanefinder is the ultimate job platform to help drivers find the driving jobs that they want. There are filters on the platform so that drivers can sort through the carriers to find the ones best suited for them. The filters help them answer questions about what the fleet size is, or where they run, or what type of equipment they run, and all without having to talk to a recruiter. I highly recommend Lanefinder for drivers to find the best driving jobs out there. Check them out at lanefinder.com. And it doesn't much matter whether the replacement of drivers is as gradual as autonomous trucks move in and integrate, or if it's overnight. The effect on the economy is still going to be the same. Chris Spear and the ATA would replace all their truck drivers tomorrow if they possibly could. You got to believe that, because this is all about money. And the faster they make more money, the happier those guys are. But I don't believe that you'll ever be able to convince Congress that autonomous trucks are safer than a skilled truck driver. Autonomous trucks are reactive. They can't anticipate a problem or a situation forming in front of them, and that's why I think Congress will recognize that autonomous trucks will never be as good as human drivers anyway. I believe that Congress will see through the BS of these autonomous trucks and take action and not allow them at the end of the day. Stay safe, keep the rubber side down. Remember, this fight over the autonomous trucks is far from over. In fact, it's really just beginning. I'll see you on the backhaul.